Hi, I figured I would try to do um, 4 short tutorials that I could post on social media over the next few weeks, just to do something a little different. I know when I tried to record a longer video, it got pixelated and probably didn't get a lot of views because it was too long. So here's hoping, if I can keep my head from tilting, I don't know why I'm tilting, that I can give you kind of some quick pointers on what I do with my normal everyday makeup. So start with skin. Obviously, I've washed my face and I've hydrated. So now I'm going to go and put some foundation on. I have brought with me my CC cream. This is my favorite. And I have a concealer. We will touch upon blusher as well. I obviously will need primer. And last but not least, I wanted to make sure I mentioned concealer, eye primer, anything that you might use, I have with me. I'm not going to go super crazy, but I'm using our new brush set, so you'll recognize a lot of these pieces. For example, one of the brushes I'll be using today is our liquid foundation brush, and I also have the beauty blender. And if I need to do any touch-up with mineral powder, I obviously have the mineral powder brush as well. So starting with the basics, primer. Everybody should have a foundation primer, whether it's liquid, whether you're using it for cream to powder, whether you're using it for powder. It's the base for everything. It gives you a barrier. It makes things wash easier at the end of the day, up and out, filling all your lines and wrinkles and potholes. And so this is going to make your surface smoother and easier to put stuff on. I do have a cream brush I use when I do concealer. I'm going to do a couple spots on my face. I'm also going to use it when it comes time to do my under eye correcting. But there are a couple of boo-boos I need to treat. And I'm using mirror off to the side simply because it's a little bit better quality than seeing myself on the computer screen. So I apologize if I'm looking off camera for a little bit. I will cover in the other sessions things about eye product, lip prep, finishing. Figured I'll do it in chronological order. So I've got my eye primer here, the white stuff, comes in a little gray tube. I'm just going to pat it onto the eyelid. This is going to give it a lighter surface. Again, like the other primer, it's meant to help your product stay on better. I then go into under eye corrector. I can use the doe foot, but I like to touch it up with a brush just because I'm a little more adept at a brush. This is our cream color brush. It can be used for cream color. It can be used for lipstick. It can be used for concealer. It's sort of versatile. All our brushes are now synthetic. So that makes life a little easier. So what I'm doing is stippling. It's lightly patting. I'm not dragging. I'm not touching it with my fingers if I can help it. Minimizing putting oil back. And I'm going to use a beauty blender at one point to smooth out this so you won't see a lot of lines. I'll try not to poke myself in the eye, but I think I just did. So we'll see how I do with that. And yes, we do still carry the old liquid foundation brush, but I found that that's actually now better to use for a mask application, strangely enough. So we'll be using our liquid foundation brush today. Let me see if I can get the wording so you can read it. Ta-da! So I usually put this on the blender, but I don't want to do it on the brush, so I'm actually going to put little dollops all over my face and then blend out. Figuring that way I'm getting more even distribution. So yes, I now have polka dots for those who like polka dots. And I'm currently using a light to medium Mary Kay CC cream. I don't care what direction you go in, but always make sure you finish in a downward stroke because that helps lay down the hairs on your face, and that is what would give you that crazy peach fuzz look. And we all make faces, so just bear with me a minute. I obviously want my face and my neck to match, so I'm going to go back and put some down low. And I get a little red in the face sometimes, not quite rosacea, but I'm very sensitive to how I look in photos, so I tend to make sure I go extra careful over that part of my face. So we've got it on. It's not perfect, but it shouldn't have to be. And now the beauty blender. Use it wet. Squeeze it out, and it's still damp. And the idea is you, again, kind of stipple all over your face. Little kisses, that's what I call it. This is to get rid of any weird lines or issues you might be having. And you can use the tip here. It's great for the eye area. The bottom is better for like wide areas that you want to get a lot in. And I think it's this way just so you have somewhere to grip it. Don't squeeze too hard. We don't want to break our sponge in half. All right, almost done with foundation. And if you want, you can always do a mineral powder foundation. I mean, heck, I could do that. It's not a big deal. I'll show off the other brush. So we've got our powder foundation brush. Ta! So I'm taking my powder foundation. I've unlocked it. I'm tapping it into the cap. And then I'm going to use what's in the cap. So I don't put too much on. And I'm just lightly dusting. This is great if you have a long, all-day occasion like a wedding that you're going to, and you want it to last all day, and you don't want it to have like a shiny finish. Some people like luminous, some like matte. This is my solution. I use a luminous foundation, and then I finish with a powder. You can also use a finishing powder, which I will do later. If I were real serious, I'd be baking my foundation. I'm not going to do that today, but it's good to know that such an option is available. So really quickly, we're going to do a hint of contouring and a hint of blusher. I'm using an older color called Sparkling Cider for my kind of contouring. And this brush has got 3 angles. It's funny. If you use the top edge, it's for highlighting. If you use the whole brush, it's sort of your blusher. And if you're doing contouring, you put your thumb in here and it becomes a fan brush. So pretty snifty, huh? So what I need to do is I'm coming down around the side of my face. And then I'm going to hit the shallow with this. So I'm making like a little number 3. My face is fairly oval. I'm pretty close to the ideal shape. Round, I think, is technically the ideal shape, but everyone does it differently. So, versatile brush. I'm now going to use the whole wide section, and I'm using our limited edition Baked Cheek color. This was Giving Heart, and I like the color. It's light pink. It's a little shimmer, but it's not too bad. And I know I just said I'm sensitive to having pink on my cheek or redness on my cheek. I wanted to be in control of where it goes. So then what I will do is I will go back with a powder brush and blend, soften that down. I might be using that again a little bit. And I think that's pretty much it for the foundation part. I mean, I could go crazy with highlighting and stuff and like on the nose and up here. I don't feel like I need that. I feel like I do want to touch up my under eye character a little though. So I'm going back for a minute. But I want to get that down before I go into the eye makeup. So I feel like I'm particularly shadowy. Didn't get enough rest. And I can then go back with the Beauty Blender to touch this up. So just bear with me a minute. Because I never want it to look kind of weird or cakey. There, much better. So this would be my flawless foundation face. And I'll see you guys next week when I go into more color products.